Your favorite and you always wanted me around. Now I'm just torn in pieces, my heart is on the ground.
I always loved libraries, the quiet of them, the smell of the plastic covers and the paper, and the tables and the silence of them. The silence of them that, if you listened, wasn't silence. It was the murmur of the stories held for years on shelves, and the soft clicking of the date stamp, the soft clickety-clicking of the date stamp. I used to go down to our little library on a Friday night in late summer, just as autumn was thinking about turning up, and the light outside would be the colour of an Everyman cover. And the lights in the library would be soft as anything, and I'd sit at a table and flick through a book and fall in love with the turning of the leaves, the turning of the leaves. And then at 7 o'clock, Mrs. Dove would say, in a voice that wasn't too loud, so it wouldn't disturb the books, 7 o'clock, please. And as I was the only one in the library's late summer rooms, I would be the only one to stand up and close my book and put it back on the shelf with a sound like a kiss. Back on the shelf with a sound like a kiss.
And I'd go out of the library, and Mrs. Dove would stand for a moment silhouetted by the adult fiction, and then she would turn the light off and lock the door and go to her little car and drive off into the night that was slowly turning the colour of ink. And I would stand for 2 minutes, and then I'd walk over to the dark library and just stand in front of the dark library.
I've not coloured yet, not coloured yet. I've not coloured yet. No, I don't want to colour inside the lines.
The role we have in the library is class visits for children. They come here regularly, groups of children. Sometimes it's the only time some of these children ever get to visit a library. We tell them about the history of the library, but also they get to have fun hearing stories from a wonderful librarian.
Okay, my name's Liz Chave. I'm a councillor for Herefordshire Council and Hereford City Council in 3 Elms Ward. The thing that greatly concerns me about libraries is that their availability and accessibility to anybody who wants to come in and use them is a really very important thing. You can come in and use the computers, the internet, if you want to. There's all sorts of other things here. I've just discovered this morning that there are games for Wii's and PS3s. I don't know about those things because I don't actually have the kit to use them. But to be able to come and borrow all that kind of thing as well, it's not just a sort of fuddy-duddy image of only dusty books and a fusty atmosphere and being shushed all the time. This noise you can probably hear in the background. There's talking going on. People are talking to each other, and there's a group of children in the children's section. Goodness knows what they're doing, storytelling or something like that probably. There's just so many things that are going on, and access to information and education, and we lose that at our peril. You don't only learn from books, you also learn from local artefacts, and a huge amount of the artefacts in the museum have actually been given by local people. So there is a community buy-in to that already, if you like. and things that should be kept and should be looked after for the community, so that you can come and look at things, you can come and study things. We have incredible access to some of these artefacts and people just don't know about it, which is one of the problems perhaps. But we really have got some incredible things here, and you can go and find out about them, you can talk about them, you can research them. It's heartbreaking, actually. It's heartbreaking.
Okay, well these are the Alfred Watkins photos. We have about 3,500 of them in Hereford Library. It's the collection that isn't anywhere else. These ones particularly are of beekeeping, because he was a very keen beekeeper and he taught a lot of people how to keep bees. He was also a founding member of the Herefordshire Beekeeping Association. They're wonderful pictures. I particularly like this one. They never seem to be wearing any protective gear either, which is kind of amazing. There is a picture amongst these of somebody being stung as well, actually, which is quite funny. We normally have bees here in the hive, but we lost the queen in this really bad cold summer, spring and winter, and she died, so we were hoping to get some more bees, but we may not. Two-headed colour. This is one of the projects I've been proudest of. It's books on prescription. We've worked quite closely with some GPs, and we got charity funding to buy these books. And they're all self-help books, cognitive behavioural therapy books for people with mental health issues. They cover things like depression, low self-esteem, anxiety. They're borrowed a lot. We've got them in all of our libraries, and we're starting to develop this collection because it's become national now. There's a new project beginning in July, and we've bought all the books for it, and it's called Reading Well. We've had some brilliant quotes from people that have found this very useful, particularly a woman who lost her daughter and was very grief-stricken. She came across this in the library and she wrote this beautiful piece saying how much it had helped her, how it was really important that she understood that grief was a process and she wasn't going mad and she shouldn't be taking Prozac.
What do you think about the threat of privatisation? Because corporate interests are not really interested in what the public want, they're interested in making money.
Well, I think that's one of the problems that we're facing at the moment, actually, is this increasing privatisation, and basically you can have it if you can afford to pay for it. Well, actually, there are quite a lot of the people in the county who probably can't afford to pay for some of these things, so we're automatically shutting them off from any opportunity to access those things and to educate themselves, improve themselves. You know, the great Victorian move towards self-improvement. That's what a lot of these things, libraries and museums, were born from. Let's remember that.
This has been here since 1874, is it?
Something like that, I believe. And I was having a quick look on the internet at home this morning, and the Libraries Act, I think, dates from 1850. So it gives you some idea of the kind of heritage of some of these movements. But you know, I mean, it may well be that there are other ways that we can help the museum to survive in some shape or form, and I will certainly be doing everything I can to try and help that to happen. I would really very much rather that it was some kind of free admission for people, but it may not be possible in the current economic climate to keep that. You know, that would be my ideal, so that everyone can come in and see what there is.
Now I don't wanna color